Good afternoon, all. We're going to come back to the specialization of advertisement management. Today, in this video, we'll be seeing this presentation again. We'll go via email and on your WhatsApp groups as well after this. We're going to see something how the companies set their budget for advertisement, and at the same time, what are the different types they take. The calculations are done based on how do they calculate advertisement budget. There are 5 to 6 types of it, and we'll discuss on the project process how it usually goes. So without wasting much time, so let's go to understand what is advertisement budget here. Advertising budget is the amount which every company, irrespective of big, small or medium, a company keeps that aside for its promotional activities. Not only big companies today, you see all the education sectors, all the sectors in fact, they tend to more so promote their product because without doing any promotional exercises, it's very difficult for the companies to notify their products to the customers because of heavy competition. So advertising budget is where the particular goods and services being promoted, which includes money such as doing a research, what does a customer feel, what does the market demand say. Then it also gets they need to get creative ideas, printing, then allocating money for different forms of media, all this, and conducting various forms of advertisements. So we basically, when we tend to do this, we require some part of cash to advertise. So that's why advertising budget is pretty important. On what factors we determine the budget, as I already told you, it depends on the competitiveness of the market. How much competitive is? If it's a monopoly market, you are not supposed to do a hell lot of promotions. You are gonna satisfy yourself with how much money you have. If you don't do it, also that's not a problem. But it depends on if you are into oligopoly or duopoly kind of market. Probably you have to do what you people are supposed to do, what you see the companies are doing today. Market share, what sector you are into and how much shares of market, meant to say what is the demand for your product in the market, how do customers take those, that is also important. Third is your product life cycle, in which cycle of the product is into. If it's into growth, you have to put hell lot of money in advertisement, and in also introduction stage. Maturity and decline, you can relax on putting money because customers already decided that this is the best brand for them to buy. Then frequency, how many people you want to reach, to how much sectors you want to reach in the country, in the international world. It all depends on you. So four are important that you have to decide on the budget when you are allocating project. You have to decide on the factors such as competitiveness, market share. Your third one will be your PLC, product life cycle of a product, and frequency of your advertisement. When we talk about your systematic process, first one we always talk about is understanding advertising budget objectives based on goals which the company has set. So the first is setting up of objectives. How much, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do? How are we allocate them? How going to allocate the money in all which sectors and tools? Determine the task, ad campaigns which have to be done. Do we require a specific television ad? Do we require a specific outdoor ad or online advertisements, and campaigns, how it is to be done, all those things. Third, formulating, evaluating, preparing the breakup for the budget. How do we break up how do we allocate money for say outdoor media, print media, and broadcast media. Taking approvals from the senior management, allocating of funds for the activities under the budget, and finally monitoring how much money you have put and what is the result that has come into. So first, set your objectives. Second, decide on the ad campaigns and tasks which you are going to do. Third, you are going to formulate, evaluate, and prepare the breakup of your advertisement budget. Fourth, you have to take the approval from the senior management. Fifth, you have to allocate your funds and which is required for promoting the product. Sixth, you are going to monitor and control it. Now, when we talk the main aspects of this video, these are the methods for calculating budget. Please pay very important attention when you are referring notes or you're referring this video. There are 6 important types which have been asked in your exams, methods of advertiser calculating budget for advertisements. First one which I want to talk to now is about percentage of sales method. Okay, first one amongst 6 are percentage of sales method. It is a commonly used method to set advertisement budget by the companies. In this method, the companies, that amount for advertisement is decided on the percentage or on the basis of sales, as the name itself suggests. So the budget, the amount will be allocated, calculated based on the basis of sales. 1 point. Second, advertising budget is specific percent of sales. Now here the budget will depend on the sales. The sales might be current or they can be assumed or anticipated. Sometimes the past quarters or sales may be the deciding factor for the companies to decide on the budget. So the third point, I'll come back to all those points once I finish. The third point is, this method is based on the notion that sales follow advertising efforts and expenditure. It is also assumed that there is a positive correlation between sales and advertisement expenditures. This is non-scientific method to decide on advertisement budget. This is the first method where the companies do utilize common used methodology, and it is the budget of the company or the advertisement budget of the company is calculated based on the percentage of sales. Is decided on the basis of sales. The advertisement budget which has been decided on the sales may be of current or maybe of anticipated, or maybe the past years or quarters sales also may be considered for giving up the budget. Third important thing, this method gives you a direct correlation, positive correlation between sales and advertisement expenditures. It has been assumed that way. It is non-scientific method and it for deciding advertisement. The merits of this percentage of sales methodology is, it is based on sales volume. Therefore, cost of advertisement can be offset against profits earned from the sales. No profit, how much did we collect, that is not important. How much we were able to sell in the past things. So one, this method encourages the manager in terms of promotional cost, selling price and profits per unit, because we are talking in terms of sales. It keeps the company in constant touch with the sales to be achieved, the targets to be achieved. I repeat, it is based on sales volume, this first methodology. Therefore it doesn't come under anything like profits, revenue to this thing. Second, it encourages the marketing manager to think in terms of selling price, promotional costs as well, and profits per unit. Right? Third, it keeps the company in constant touch with the sales target to what to be achieved. However, the disadvantages is it doesn't have any logical scientific base. One, long-term planning is not possible because the long-term sales forecasting becomes very difficult. Stages of product life cycle is not at all been considered in the percentage of sales methodology. This is your first methodology. When we talk about the second methodology, objective and task methodology, this is the most appropriate ad budget method for any company. It is a scientific method to design the advertisement budget. This method considers company's own environment and requirement. Alright? This is the most apt comparative to your percentage of sales. It is a scientific method again to calculate on the advertisement budget, and this budget considers its own company's environment and requirement, such as defining specific objectives, determining the task must be performed to achieve them, and estimating the cost of performing the task. Those are all internally linked aspects. I repeat, defining the objectives, determining the task allocation and how should be performed to achieve them, and the cost involved for performing the tasks. This method is based on the relationship between objectives of the task to achieve these objectives. This method, I repeat, is based on the relationship, the objectives of the task to achieve these objectives. There's no assumptions here. Thus, advertisement budget is based on the objectives of a company wants to achieve in what way it wants the objectives to be achieved. This method, comparative to your percentage sales method, is consistent and practically applicable for all the companies. There are unfortunately no merits and demerits to elaboration on these. But when we talk about the differences between your percentage of sales, where the sales has been calculated more rather than your scientific methodology such as objective and task, where it is more scientific, where we calculate or where we determine the company's own considers own environment and requirement. Those are, it sets up your the objectives of it, determines the task to perform and how to be done, and the third one is cost required per performing the task to achieve the task. So it has a positive correlation, direct correlation with the targets, objectives of the task and the objectives to be achieved. The advertisement is based on one primary objective. This methodology is that what company wants to achieve and in what way it wants to achieve its targets or objectives. That is very consistent, logical and practical form of methodology. That is your second. Third, when people talk, it is your competitive parity method. Competitive parity method. This method considers the competitors' advertisement activities and costs for setting up advertising budget. So the companies will set their advertisement budgets based on competitors' advertisement activities. The advertisement budget is fixed on the basis of advertisement strategies adopted by competitors. Here, third point, here it is assumed that competitors or leaders are always right. If not followed carefully, this method may lead into misleading. It is obvious that company will differ significantly from one competitor to another competitor in terms of product, objective, sale, financial status, the stages of product, philosophy and other expenses, image, reputation, brand. However, when we talk about this competitive parity, it doesn't give you a huge clear picture as what it is. That's why when we talk about the merits are not much, when we talk about the demerits are much. So competitive parity method is one which is where the methodology of setting up objectives is done based on the objective of strategies which are being adopted by the competitors. One, and the advertisement budget is fixed on the advertisement strategies which have been done by your competitor. Here it is assumed that competitors or leaders are always right, and if you not followed carefully, this might lead to miscommunication. And if the company, one company will differ from different companies in terms of products to quality, brand, image, reputation, etc. When we talk about the demerits, in case of new product, the method completely fails to guide on the advertisement project. It is difficult in which life cycle the product is into, of a competitor is passing through. That is difficult. Company differs in terms of sales, profit, challenges, financial conditions. In case where there are many competitors, it is difficult to decide as whom the company should follow. The method follows only where the dominant competitors are. In the absence of competition, method cannot be used. Okay. So 4 demerits what this methodology has. The methodology has, in case of NPD, new product, it is not an useful one because it doesn't give you an advertisement product budget. Difficult to know the competitors' product life cycle, which is into. Companies differ from their own sales, profit, challenges and all. In case many competitors, for our company it becomes difficult to identify whom should we follow, whom should we not, and the method where there are only few competitors or only dominant competitors are there. In case of absence of competition, this method will completely be a failure. Next, when we talk about the fourth aspect, that will be your affordable method. All you afford method also, it is said. This method is based on company's capacity to spend. It is based on the notion that the company should spend on advertisement as per its capacity. The company with sound financial position will spend more, and the company who doesn't. Under this method, budget allocation is made only after meeting all the expenses. Method completely ignores the role or need of advertisement in the marketing environment. Method only guides the company should not spend the method only guides that a company should not spend beyond its capacity. That is one. I'm not going to dig deep into that. When we talk about the next one, expert opinion one, many marketing firms follow this methodology. Both internal and external experts are asked to estimate the amount to be spent on advertisement for a given period of time for a product. Expert on the basis of rich experience on their area that determine objective and the amount of advertisements. Experts supply their estimate individually, or maybe they can do it on joint basis. Along with the estimates, there are underlined certain assumptions also. Internal experts also involved, such as executives, general managers, advertisement managers, sales managers, etc. External will include marketing consultants, dealers, suppliers, distributors, trade associates, advertisement agencies. The merits of this, the estimates tends to be more balanced as executives and experts are involved. It is the only opinion where company is new, having no past experience. It's the only option when a company is new, having no past experience. Experts tend to be more neutral as they are external to the organization. The demerits, however, it is not a scientific method. External experts are not fully aware of companies' market situations, possibility of prejudice and bias. So these are your few methodologies of advertising budget. Please go through this pretty carefully. There has been plenty of times asked in your exams. I repeat the whole video in a couple of minutes. I spoke on the topic of advertisement budget today. Advertisement budget is one where it is a process where the company allocates money to the company's products for its promotional activity, research activity, and also for getting creative modes, printing materials, and delivering and choosing apt media tool for delivering it to the customers. On what factors the advertisement budget has been done? Based on the competitiveness of the market which has, based on the market share the sector and the product company is into. It depends on the product of the life cycle of the product, and it also depends on the frequency where you want to reach. The process of setting up advertisement budget is pretty simple. First, you have to set up your own objectives of the company on what you have to achieve your objectives. Second, you have to determine the tasks and allocate the work to perform the tasks. Formulating, evaluating, and preparing the breakup for advertisement budgets. Taking approval from the top management. Allocating the funds for the products, activities under advertisement budget. And after that, you have to monitor and control the expenditure, revising it whenever required. When we talk about the methods of calculating the budget, first we spoke about percentage of sales method, where it is a non-scientific method where the advertisement budget is calculated on the basis of the sales of the company. The sales of the company may be considered as current or anticipated ones, or it is calculated on the past sales of quarter or a year. The biggest assumption here, what the company takes over here, is that there might be a positive correlation between your advertisement efforts and expenditure, sales and expenditures. It is not scientific to prove the logic point. When we spoke, it is based on the sales volume, so profits and all doesn't make a big impact. It helps the marketing manager to decide on the promotional cost, selling cost, and other profits per cost. Third merit, it is constant touch. It gives the employees to decide on the target, how they can achieve. However, the demerits are it lacks your scientific methodology. Sales may be fluctuating, so forecasting becomes difficult, and stages of product life cycle is not explained. Second, objectives and task method. Objective and task becomes your one of the methods with scientific logic into that. It depends on the company's own environment and own strategies, such as defining on the company's objectives, determining the tasks and how to be performed to achieve the tasks, and cost involved to achieve those tasks. Method is based on the relationship, the objectives and the task of the task, and is equals to the objectives achieved. Thus, it has one particular principle that company to achieve the objectives which the company wants to has been set up is equal the company wants to achieve its objectives. It is logically consistent, practical to be utilized. Third one, we spoke on the competitive parity method. This is again a method where it bases its advertisement budget on the competitors' strategies and competitors' aspects. Here it is assumed that the competitors might be the followers, are the kings, and they are right. However, if taken wrong, they can be misled. Obviously, it has assumptions again, saying that all the strategies might have shift. However, it is not. All the companies tend to differ in terms of sales, their reputation, image, financial conditions. We spoke about their disadvantages also. Affordable method, simple it is. It determines on the capacity of each company's financial part. More financial capability, more advertisements, lesser. Okay. And the final one, we spoke about the expert-oriented method, where experts with rich experience from their various domains have been considered to give their opinion and set up the budget for the company. Experts include internal and external. Internal budget might include your all kind of managers, and external might include your distributors, your agency owners, your trade associations, your consultants, etc. And we spoke of the merits and the demerits also. These are your few advertisement process and budget. Kindly go through. The mailing process will be done for you people after this video. Thank you.